Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2000 and...
Mike's Daily Podcast
2013. There we go. 2013. Episode 2013. 2013 was an interesting year. Let's see. There was people... Oh, wait. I got divorced that year. That's right. That's clear. Hey, I don't want to remember that. Why am I remembering that? I don't know. But welcome to episode 2013. Yo, I have not done a podcast in almost a week. And I'm going to tell you something. I kind of like it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But Mike, then it's not a daily podcast. No, it's not. But you know what? I don't mind because
Mike's
I have to
Daily
tell you that life
Podcast
has been kind of odd.
Yeah!
Because I've been working from home and I'm trying to get into that kind of that pacing where I'm getting a lot more rest, I have to admit. I'm getting a lot more rest, and I like it. I can get used to this. My lovely lady friend said, after all of this, once we go back to quote-unquote normal, we're going to have a massive hangover. Some of us going, wow, I've been getting used to not commuting. This has been awesome. I'm kind of enjoying making my own hours. But here's the thing is that I'm finding there's a lot I still need to do even though I work from home. And the time I like to podcast is usually in the evening. And I get pushed late into the evening with my job. And thus I am not able to do this podcast. So I'm going to be honest with you. I have gotten really I'm getting nothing from you, basically. Nothing. I'm getting no phone calls at 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily is what this podcast has in its name. And yes, I get interrupted from time to time. I'm not hearing from you. I'm not getting any emails at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I'm getting nothing. An occasional like on my Facebook for the podcast picture. Especially if it's of my lovely lady friend and I, which today it is not. No, it's from 3 years ago in Lake Chabot and the little marina they have there, which I used to walk past all the time and finally used one of their boats with my lovely lady friend about 2 years ago. But here's the thing, and I was at Lake Chabot yesterday. I took some nice pictures of it. Basil was not with us. He can't walk now. But I did take him via the car and picked him up and took him over to the park and laid him down on the grass. And we hung out at the park for a while. That was nice. And people walked by, social distancing everybody, saying, hey, oh, what a nice dog. What a cute dog. And all these dogs wanting to play with him. And him still wanting to play, but keeping distance from dogs, keeping distance from people. And you've kept your distance, you Avita person. You've kept your distance and you have not called or emailed. And thus, I haven't really wanted to do the podcast. Honestly. I am the person that years ago, over 10 years ago, when I started podcasting, I said, everyone should podcast. Because for years, and this was back in 2009, that I would turn on the talk radio stations, and it was Rush Limbaugh. Everywhere you went, Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity. And you may or may not know this. If you listen to this podcast for a while, I knew Sean Hannity back at UC Santa Barbara when he first started in radio. We were both working at the same AM station with KC... What was it? KCSB. It was UCSB's radio station with KCSB. And on the AM station, Sean Hannity would come on after me, and he would walk in and go, hey, Mike, how's it going? He was really nice to me. I had no idea his politics at the time, and that I would differ from his politics. And he can get a little hate speechy, and I don't like it. But I probably agree with him on the fact I'm not happy with China right now. And look, okay, I'm part German. My mom's German. I've been to Germany. I got lots of wonderful relatives in Germany. Germany forever will live with the stigma of Adolf Hitler and what a jerk that guy was. And that forever, I mean, that they were Nazis in Germany that took over and, did a horrible things in Europe. China will forever have the stigma of somehow starting a disease. It all goes back to them. Whether it did start with them or not, I know that's up to debate. Italy says they may have had coronavirus before China. I've heard this. I don't know if that's World Wide Web lies. I don't know. But at any rate, the overall consensus is that the disease came from the Wuhan province in China. Okay. So China let this get out of control, and it affected the world. And we all, in some way, are angry at China for this. Okay, it's a stigma that will live with them forever, as the stigma lives with my German heritage. Do I agree with anything the Nazi? Of course not. It's ridiculous, but still, it's there, and it's historical. Just as America will forever be known for some of the horrible things we did to Native Americans and the whole slavery thing and the history there. It's despicable and horrible. So we have, things as a nation that tarnish our reputation, and China has that going for it. And what's his name? Bill Maher is going through a lot of heat right now because of stuff he said. But at any rate, we'll see how history proves all this out. At any rate, and I'm done saying at any rate because I've got to find another thing. In any case, meanwhile, what other sort of transitional as we go outside a cafe anyway. So we're in Podcastro Valley, 10 today, the last place on earth. Back at, what was it? Oh, back in 2009, I was saying, look, we've got the same talk show hosts. We've been hearing the same folks on the radio stations because they're syndicated. And radio, it's tough. It's a tough business. It costs a lot of money to run a radio station. So they look for the cheapest content provider. And at that time, it was the syndicated Sean Hannity show or Rush Limbaugh. And thus you heard these same singular talk show host voices wherever you went. And I was like, podcasting is great because it gives all kinds of people the chance to talk. And sure enough, you had podcasts. People become podcast icons that no one had heard of before. And that's great. That's awesome. I hope it continues. But at the same time, when you're not getting any response from any of your listeners, and I know I got listeners, I got statistics, they're nowhere near, the most popular ones, but it just sucks that I don't hear from anybody. So that is why I'm not going to be doing this podcast like I used to. I, for a while there, was doing it every day, and I'm not going to do it. I'm done. I'm going to do it once in a while, but this will still be Mike's Daily Podcast. I paid for the domain name for the next 2 or 3 years or something, so I still got MikesDailyPodcast.com. And so it will say, maybe it'll be daily again. It depends on you. It depends on the response I get from you. And I'm getting no response, so that's all I have to say. Meanwhile, I'm competing, transitional phrase, I'm competing against all these people broadcasting from home, all these celebrities. So that's going to be a losing battle. Got the Will Smith doing his thing from home, all the musicians that are doing stuff from home. So, anywho, enough of my whining and crying and complaining. But I am gaining weight, so I will complain about that because I'm not walking like I used to. I'm not walking from Bart like I used to. I haven't taken Bart in almost a month. This is crazy. I'm used to taking Bart and seeing the odd people on there. But at the same time, I'm enjoying not taking Bart and seeing the odd people on there. However, I did go to the Costco, finally. It had been over a month, and I went, And I had heard rumors that it's not as bad there anymore, that you can get stuff that you need. No. I get there. Of course, I went later in the day. Apparently, they close now at 6. So I got there just before they closed, around 5:30. Still had to wait in the line to get in, although the line moved pretty fast. Everybody has their face masks. I have my little bandana, which didn't stay on my face, by the way. It fell off and it hit the ground. And my lovely lady friend says, "You have to burn that now." I'm like, no. But at any rate, meanwhile, however, the Costco experience was, I got generally everything I needed. I think I spent over $400 worth to get stuff. Was I hoarding? No. I'm going to use everything. But generally, whenever I had gone to Costco, as a matter of fact, when you go to Costco, you in a sense are a hoarder, because you are getting more stuff than the typical person would get, because you buy in quantity. So because I went to Costco over a month ago and bought toilet paper at that time, I still have toilet paper, and I'm not going to rush out and buy it, although it wasn't there. And this is where we're going today on today's podcast, is the discussion of why has toilet paper been disappearing? And it's stress buying. We're obviously not, and it's weird because when I lived in Alabama and we would have, snow would come in and people would panic buy. They panic bought eggs, bread, and milk. Toilet paper was nowhere involved in that. But then let's see, panic buying back in October in California when we had all the wildfires was water. People just bought all the water, which made no sense to me. It's like they're not cutting off the water supply. Oh, but there was the fear that was going to happen. So fear buying, stress buying. And it really comes down to, psychologists say that we are, because we're stressed, because of the current situation, that we're not in normal times. It doesn't feel normal at any rate. We are stress buying, and we're buying all of one thing that we don't see a lot of. So we hear about it in the news. We go to the store and see that the racks where the toilet paper is and the facial tissue and the paper towels, that they're all missing. There's nothing there. So now we feel like we got to have it. But do we really need it? I still have about 8 rolls at home. I think I'm going to be fine. As a rule, I don't use a ton of toilet paper. I'm thankfully. Some people have a problem where they got to use a lot of it, but not me, and I'm thankful for that. So let's see. It sucks though for the people that do need it who really need it. But we're stress buying, and it's ridiculous. And now it's starting to bleed over to things like beans or stuff in cans. You can't find many canned supplies these days. The long-term stuff that can be stored for a long period of time stuff, that's disappearing, which is odd. But that's the next thing. And then I'm hearing flour, too, is disappearing off the shelves because people are home and they're baking. Oh, happy Easter, by the way, if you like to bake things for Easter. So, what am I saying? I'm saying let's keep our fear in check, keep our stress in check. And that's probably what we should do, and keep an eye on that. Let's keep an eye on who else is here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton today. Outside here. Hello, Michael Masters, Madame Rootabega, and I bought all the toilet paper in the world. Oh, where are you keeping it? I have a very large basement. I'm shoving it into the Earth's core. Oh. Wow, are you ever going to use all that toilet paper? Yes. Are you going to give some of that toilet paper to me? Yes. Are you going to make yourself a toilet paper bride for an upcoming bridal shower? No. Yeah, how many bridal showers are there going to be? That's all the weddings getting canceled. Poor wedding planner people. And I hear real estate agents now are being called essential, or there's like part of, they're allowing certain real estate transactions to happen. Just as much of it as you can do online, they're saying do that. I read that in the local paper. We'll see. But it's interesting the times in which we live. Hey, you can hear me on the air on Sunday on KKDV. I don't know I think it's back on. Yeah. You can listen online at kkdv.com. It's also on radio.com, but I'll be on the radio from 9 to, I think, about 6 in the evening on Sunday for your Easter Sunday. So tune into that and hear me there. And then just don't respond to a single thing I do. Don't email me. I mean, it's so easy to email or so easy to comment on any of the social media. I am all over the place on social media. I always have been. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Pinterest. I'm on the podcast websites like Spreaker, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Stitcher, TuneIn. So I was on Stitcher way before any of the people you knew that podcasted were on Stitcher. I got to go to Stitcher's headquarters in San Francisco when they were up over there off Montgomery Street on like the 8th floor. And they had this one floor. They took up the whole floor of this building. They gave me a T-shirt. I still have it. They gave me bumper stickers. Nice people. I was doing that before any of these podcasters were. SoundCloud. I'm on that. I'm on YouTube. Spotify, Deezer, Launchpad, Anchor FM. Do you want more? Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio. Am I on radio.com? No, because those people are idiots. With me anyway, they're idiots. They cannot, for some reason, I mean, you can find my podcast on there. They can't make it play. I'm like, what is the issue? In fact, I got to write them back. Alex over there, come on, make it work. Do your little Tim Gunn and make it work. Look who else is here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton, the last place on earth.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley.
Mike, we bought up all the Clorox wipes there.
Yeah, Clorox wipes. Wow, that's good. You make sure that nobody else has any way of avoiding germs by taking all that. Thank you so much, Valentino and Bison Bentley. See, this hoarding thing is ridiculous. Just what? Has this not shown us? Coronavirus, horrible disease, makes it so you cannot breathe. Has killed John Prine, Joe Diffie, the guy from Fountains of Wayne, the royalty in Spain, I forget her name. And all, it's just terrible. The guy from Desperately Seeking Susan. It's terrible. And yet we hoard and prevent other people from having the necessary things to combat this disease. Face masks, the nebulizers and the respirators and everything, they're in low supply. It's ridiculous. Pink almost passed away from the COVID-19. She had said it was the most incredible. She could not breathe. Sarah Bareilles, same thing, also had COVID-19. I'm sorry. I talk, as you can tell from the podcast. In fact, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook at Mike Talks. So you see, it's part of me talking. And in order to talk, you need to breathe. The fact of not being able to breathe, oh my God. So, yes, I hope you keep breathing. I hope you avoid COVID-19. Do all the things they tell you need to do. Be safe. Thanks for listening. And chat with me once in a while. Come on, let's get some response from you, peoples. Listening to Mike's Daily Podcast at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And here's Ariel to take us out. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.